we'll talk about a unexpectedly busy Tuesday. It is the 25th of March. Welcome inside the channel. I'm Bobby Trosset. Thanks for being with me today. On the way in, please like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, do all those things. Today's live stream is brought to you by my friends at Primary Residential Mortgage. You can learn more about them by clicking on the link that's at the top of the show notes. There's also a pinned comment in the live chat. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about them in just a bit. But we've got more pressing news off the top, and that is a Ravens offseason signing, a Ravens pre-draft signing. So first and foremost, let me not make this mistake, or at least this assumption again, the way that I did at the end of the Vault's noon lunch hour live stream wrapping up just a short while ago when I was just seeing this news in real time. I said to myself, geez, why are the Ravens signing a cornerback right now? And when I say I said cornerback, not quarterback, just to be clear. But my first thought was like, wait a second. It's not until the Monday after the draft that signings don't count against the compensatory pick formula, which, of course, from a team philosophy standpoint, the Ravens have always been big believers in following that rule. Well, this new signing was just recently released by the Tennessee Titans. So there you have it. It does not count because of the release to the compensatory pick formula. So that remains intact. And what remains intact right now, or it may be closer to being intact, is the Ravens cornerback room because Cheeto Awuzie is joining it. This from the Ravens themselves, not the insiders. It was the Ravens team account first, followed by the insiders. He's got some AFC North experience, does Cheeto, and he now joins the Ravens. You knew that at some point along the way, whether it was going to be through free agency or the draft, that they were going to need to round out this room, replace Brandon Stevens, and continue to build talent around the group that they already have. And the first step towards doing so is official. So Cheeto, 6 feet tall, 202 pounds, played his college football at Colorado. He was a second-round pick in 2017, 60th overall by the Dallas Cowboys, where he spent his first 4 seasons. He then went on to spend 3 years in Cincinnati. So you may have gotten to be familiar with his game, his name, from the time that he was a Bengal. He spent last year in Tennessee, and I just checked in with a Titans source a short while ago to get his perspective, and I'll share that with you right now because this was a little bit of a surprise in some of the research that I did within the Titans community, the fan community, that Cheeto was let go and was released. I think there was a big surprise, matter of fact. And what I got here from one of their beat reporters, Paul Kuharski, we've had him on the Vault several times over the years. He writes, big health push here from new general manager is the biggest thing. So again, citing Cheeto's health or lack thereof from an availability standpoint in recent years. This past season in particular, where he only played in 8 games. So I'll get to that in just a second. All 10 free agents, he goes on to say, they've signed have played a huge percentage of their games. He missed a big chunk of last season and a bunch over the last several years. Still, it's weird to eat such a chunk of cap dollars. So let's get into the numbers. Let's get into the availability again, or lack thereof, and try to make sense of this from a Ravens perspective. As Rap Sheet noted here, it's a minimum deal for Baltimore. Tennessee still owes Awuzie $7.5 million. So again, the Ravens, who are obviously limited from a salary cap standpoint, are in darn good shape right now, given what Tennessee has already on the books for Awuzie. So much like Denver did for Pittsburgh last year to have Russell Wilson suit up as a Steeler, right? With all that money that they were paying Russ and allowed Pittsburgh to pay him the veteran minimum to start a handful of games. It's similar, although much less money, that's going on right now between Tennessee and Baltimore. So for the Ravens, you get your potential Brandon Stevens replacement. But more so than anything else, and you do so, by the way, financially wisely, like it's very economical. But more so than anything else, given what we know the Ravens are about in this category, as we approach draft season, they can now stand on business, or I should say, stand on their philosophical approach to how you build your team through the draft. And that is by best player available. That is precisely what this move is. To me, they're now in a position to tackle their 11 picks with the philosophy that they have had as a calling card for years. It's not that you're putting aside need, but the best player available based on how you've built out your board is how they will address the 27th overall pick, and so on and so forth with the following 10 picks. I really do believe that because they've shown that that's what they're about time and time and time again. So those are a few of my opening takeaways. He played in just 8 games last year for Tennessee, 7 of which were starts. Okay? It was a groin injury that limited him. He is 29, so he is a veteran. He'll turn 30 in May and play this upcoming football season at 30 years young or 30 years old from football perspective. He has dealt with his fair share of injuries in the past, played in just 8 games in 2022. That was due to an ACL tear, a grade 3 ACL tear to his right knee. That was October of 2022. Prior to that, just 8 games, 6 of which were starts in 2020. That was his last year in Dallas. That was a thigh hamstring strain, grade 2. Week 2 against Atlanta. He was placed on IR and missed 7 games. So he's no stranger to having availability issues, but he is a veteran, and he does bring a lot to the table. At 29, he recorded 26 total tackles, 17 of which were solo. He recorded a pick, 4 PBUs, and 1 forced fumble in 8 games last season for Tennessee. They paid him a nice hefty contract too, and he only ended up playing 8 games for him. It was a 3-year deal for Awuzie, and a nice one at that. But he goes down. They went younger, and now the Ravens cash in to put themselves in a position where they're not maybe reaching for a player come April 24th, probably after 10 o'clock, maybe even after 11 o'clock. 27th overall pick will probably be late. But that's a positive if you're the Ravens. You're not, based on this signing, for my money, you are no longer reaching come opening night for the cornerback position. Because on paper, you would think this is your Brandon Stevens replacement. And if it is, you're in the driver's seat come April. And you can now do what you do best. There's only a handful of teams. I think Philadelphia certainly has to be considered one of them that drafts so consistently the way that Baltimore does and has had such success sticking to its philosophy the way Baltimore has. And this, to me, signals exactly that. They now have a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of wiggle room, and a big need filled. That's what they're hoping, at least. Friend of the show, Dev Panchwa from Ravens Twitter, adding in some X's and O's here from what he's watched of Awuzie over the years. I would imagine that Dev got familiar with him during his time as a Cincinnati Bengal. And he writes, I loved Awuzie with the Bengals. Prototypical boundary ability, length, size. He's physical. He fits the mold for Chuck Pagano. That's probably the most important aspect. Still only 29. I like this on paper, and it offers flexibility to go safety ahead of corner on day 1 or day 2. Totally agree with that because that remains a need. You want to know what it also does as well? It gives you some insurance for TJ Tampa, who was banged up throughout the beginning of last year and really towards the end as well. His rookie season was lost due to multiple injuries and due to one right off the top of his season right before the season began, I should say during training camp, that double sports hernia procedure that just didn't allow him to hit the ground running. And so you're bringing in insurance there. And if you want Marlon in the slot, now you have that candidate to be the starter opposite Nate Wiggins outside. And Dev started talking about a rotation right there, actually in that second tweet. Wiggins, Marlowe, and Awuzie is your rotation on paper. Awuzie for Stevens seems like an even swap. If he can stay healthy, a better and more instinctive player, quite honestly. But that's the biggest question mark. Again, can he stay healthy? That we don't know. And I just shared with you the note I received from Paul Kuharsky, who covers the Titans and has for a long time, and he cited exactly that. Right? This new era in Tennessee, this new general manager, they've put a lot of focus on health. They've put a lot of focus on availability, especially when it comes to their free agency signings. And he wrote me, there's a big health push here from the new general manager. That's the biggest thing. All 10 free agents they've signed have played a huge percentage of their games. He missed a big chunk of last season and a bunch over the last several years. Still, it's weird to eat such a chunk of cap dollars. And to be clear, once more, Tennessee is on the hook for $7.5 million this upcoming season, and they're on the hook to pay that when he ain't even going to be in Baltimore. So, in other news, such as life has been for the Ravens in recent months, this appears to be a low risk, medium to high level reward kind of move. It doesn't break the bank. It doesn't count against the compensatory pick formula, and ultimately sets the Ravens up nicely to do what they want to do and handle their business the way that they want to coming up on draft night. Today's breaking news live stream is brought to you by my friends at Primary Residential Mortgage. And what if I told you that I'm about to close up shop in Canton here in Baltimore? I'm letting my lease run out and I'm on the move starting June 1st. Could I be on the move, meaning the home buying move? Potentially. I'm in some talks with my guy Zach in Primary Residential Mortgage about beginning the pre-loan process and everything that's required, particularly as a self-employed individual, in order to potentially be eligible for a home buying experience. And I feel like I'm ready. I got the dog. I'm 30 now. My finances are ready to go. I've saved, I've invested, and it might be that time. And if it is that time, PRMI is going to be my best friend throughout this process. If you are looking for ways to make your home buying process even more affordable and convenient, consider my friends at Primary Residential Mortgage. They are excited to share an exclusive offer that can help you achieve your dream of owning a home. They're giving away $100 certificates, gift certificates, toward closing costs on applicants that are qualified. So this means you can save on one of the essential steps in the home buying process, making it easier to achieve your home ownership goals. In order to redeem your certificate, just scan the QR code or click on the link that I have included in the top of the show notes and also as a pinned comment in the live chat. The certificate itself is valid for 90 days from the date of receipt, and the offer itself ends May 1st of 2025. So don't miss out on this opportunity. Take advantage of this limited time offer to save on your home buying journey. PRMI is an equal housing lender, NMLS 3094. Would love for you to work for them. I should say work with them. Great opportunity. Really, really trust them. And who knows where I end up this offseason. Cheeto Awuzie is ending up in Baltimore now, and that is your breaking news. He is your newest Ravens corner. He's got AFC North experience, and he's got experience talking about one Lamar Jackson, which he did as a member of the Cincinnati Bengals in October of 2022.
Lamar unique, Cheeto, in terms of as a passer downfield. We all know what he can do running the ball. What makes him unique passing the ball?
He's very accurate. People don't give him enough credit for being accurate. He's putting that ball in places that not a lot of quarterbacks can put, and the amount of zip he has on the ball. And everybody knows he kind of has a sidearm release, kind of a low release that probably gets that ball there faster a little bit. But he's very accurate with the ball. On the move, he's able to create. I know we saw that play against he was at the Bills where he scrambled out, tossed it up. Yeah, so the plays like that are that's who Lamar is, and very accurate thrower.
Cheeto, highly complimentary of his new quarterback, even though he'll be on the other side of the ball, of course. And that was back from October of 2022. Again, if you're just tuning in, Cheeto has some AFC North experience. He spent 21 to 23 with the Bengals. He was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys in the second round of the 2017 draft, 60th overall, and he spent last year in Tennessee. They gave him a nice deal, but then they moved on from him after just one season. He played in just 8 games. He had a groin injury. He does have an ACL tear in his injury history. You got to go back to October of 2022. That was a grade 3 knee ACL, his right knee. So that'll be something to watch, particularly given the age, particularly given the miles, and what have you done for me lately, which, of course, wasn't a whole lot. Now, he did perform in an 8-game sample size for them a season ago, but the Ravens need him to stack health just as much as they need him to stack numbers. And now, again, I think one of the biggest parts and the pieces to this puzzle for where they are right now from a team building standpoint is that they now organizationally can enter the draft with no gaping holes, right? Needs-wise, they're in pretty darn good shape. You are definitely going to bring another corner in. You might bring 2 corners in, right? You definitely need an edge presence. Would love a high-impact edge rusher to fall to them at 27. I'm sure they would as well. You definitely need safety help. You definitely need to bring in another guard or 2. Maybe that's an area on day 3 they bring in depth for. I don't know how great they feel about Andrew Voorhees. They continue to, John Harbaugh certainly gave him a vote of confidence last month in Indianapolis when I asked him multiple questions about that and about the offensive line and about what happened at left guard after Voorhees went down with an injury last year and Patrick McCary filled in and really never gave up that position. Of course, he's in Jacksonville now. So that's where things stand. The Titans will take care of the contract, or at least a good portion of the contract for 2025. The Ravens will be on the hook for very little. No surprise there between, if you've been following the trend of moves between void years and veteran minimums and using everything in the book to take it nice and easy on the cap situation as they remain very, very tight. So Cheeto Awuzie, your newest Ravens corner, I want to get your thoughts on this random time to be streaming. It's 2:30. Sometimes Sarah and I are still on at this point. But the news itself came out right at the end of my Vault live stream today. So did a little bit of editing, a little bit of research on Cheeto, and popped right back on the stream here on the Bobby Baltimore side of things. I appreciate you guys for being with me. Please like the video on your way in. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell. Let's go down to Mexico. Get Manny's thoughts on the newest member of the Ravens secondary. Your thoughts are what, my friend? It's good to see you.
Hey, it's good to see you too, Bobby. I see you're ready for gym.
The gym? Oh, the gym?
Yeah.
You think this is a workout material?
I mean,
it is meshy. I could probably pull it off, but this is not. Actually, have I ever worked out in this? This is an Under Armour kind of pullover-ish, sweater-ish. But you know what? Maybe I will do that tomorrow morning now that you say it. What you got for me?
Well, what I got, it's a good signing. I think I would ask Mike, my defensive coordinator, if he actually likes the signing.
You know what? Mike, feel free to weigh in, first of all. But to me, it's like this is yet again the theme of the offseason has been void years, right? And the
Yeah.
theme has been retaining your own and whatnot. But if there's like an overarching one overall, it's can you really be mad at what they've done? Because you know the situation given the salary cap, and
Mm-hmm.
you know the challenges, you know their limitations, but you also know that they retain their franchise left tackle. And when you take a look at market value, it stacks up really nicely and
Mm-hmm.
puts Ronnie in a position to be forever appreciated if they can get to the mountaintop, right? Because he could have gotten a lot more from the New Englands and the Kansas Cities had he hit the open market. Schematically, you obviously want to continue to invest in a fullback. He ain't going anywhere, a 300-plus pounder. You bring in Tylen, your guy, for
Yes,
insurance purposes to round out the wide
my
receiver
guy.
room. We'll see what Tez has to say about that at wide
Oh,
receiver. And, there's a bunch of there's other moves that have been made, but to me,
yeah.
it's hard to criticize what they've done, knowing where they stand right now financially and knowing where Lamar's cap hit not only is right now, but will skyrocket to without an extension next year. So I'll just set you up that way. I don't think there's a lot of room for criticism right now. And the bottom line is the nucleus is intact, right? The core is intact and they're ready to run it back. And I get the sense that they're happy with that.
Yes, I understand. I agree with your point. The thing is, things like this would have been prevented 2-3 years before the Lamar contract. Like, I do you remember? I think it was like in year 3, year 4 of Josh Allen's that they signed him for like a cheap deal, and
Got out
then
in front of the other quarterbacks, you mean Buffalo?
yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah. So they had a chance to actually sign Lamar for the cheap, instead of actually just waiting it out. No,
Well, a
uh,
lot of that though probably had to do with with the unique situation of negotiating.
yeah. So you could have signed him. Okay, maybe not to what he has right now, but you could have done it. 200 mil guaranteed before his 5th year option. That way, down the line, it would have been a lot cheaper. It would have helped you with the cap situation right now. To actually, let's say, from all the pieces that you got right now, you could have retained at least one more, or at least go for another player out in
Problem
free
is it
agency.
takes two to tango with there, right? It takes two to tango, and then Lamar, he's such a unique cat that you'd have to have two willing parties there. But anyway, I hear what you're saying. Mahomes and the way Kansas City structured theirs, that has paid off extremely well for the Chiefs and allowed them to be completely flexible with the way that they team build, the way they spend, the way that they make, big spendings, big purchases.
Yeah,
But we'll see. Hey, Lamar's got another opportunity. He's got another chance to do that. Do they structure a deal similarly to the way that they did with Mahomes and go in that direction? I don't know. But the point is here, though, the overall point is that they're sitting here nicely
oh yeah,
to under a month from now do what they do as good as anybody does around the league, and that is build their team through the draft, right? No gaping holes. You have needs, but I don't think they're going to reach. This move signals to me that they do not plan on reaching whatsoever come Thursday night at 11 o'clock on the 24th.
I think it's more so like a preventive, just in case their guy is not there. Because even though they're projected a corner, but as all years come, you don't know how the board falls. Because last year, what was it? Almost all wide receivers that were elite level in college were gone in 15 rounds. And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, what's rest? Well, all line is rest. No. They're drafting another wide receiver. Oh, it's another wide receiver. I think everything was on offense up until us that we drafted Nate. That was the first defensive player drafted after what position were we last year?
Well, are you talking about first rounders from DaCosta under the DaCosta tutelage?
No, last year that was drafted like whole offense and in the first round, and we were the first one to actually draft a defensive player.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. So on because he was projected like wide receiver and then someone like D line or corner just to counter it within their respective divisions, and no, everybody went offensive weapons.
Well, I'll be shocked if they go offense this year. I'll tell you that. I really will. And we will see on the 24th, Manny. Thanks for dropping by, brother.
Hey, take care, man.
Catch up with you soon. Guest lines are open. You guys want to pop on, share a thought with me? It's breaking. Cheeto Awuzie has agreed to terms with the Ravens. He's going to add to their cornerback room. He's 29. Tennessee's going to be paying a nice little chunk of change, $7.5 million to be exact. He signed a 3-year deal with them last year, played in just 8 games. And as Paul Kaharski just texted me, they're not only are they going a youthful movement with the Titans and their new GM, but they want a health movement. And that's not exactly what Cheeto gave them last year. What he's giving the Ravens, you would hope, is an immediate replacement for Brandon Stevens, somebody that can play opposite Nate Wiggins, assuming that you want Marlon in the slot, somebody that has AFC North experience from his time with the Cincinnati Bengals, and somebody that is not in the slightest going to break the bank. So there you have it. Julian, what say you, brother? Give me your instant reaction as I give you mine.
Well, I mean, like any other, person would say, he's just he's just a body, it's a good signing. Health does worry me a little bit, but it's not like we have Steve Saunders back there, helping these guys out again.
My man Steve is
Because that
staying
guy was a
catching
major
strays these
fucking
days.
cancer. Oh, he's gonna catch strays until the end of time, man. Ain't no backing out from this. We know his backstory and his track record. I can't You can't let that man slide from that. There was too much going on under his watch that he let go, and it was just like, nah, ain't no way. He stayed along too long for that all that shit to be going on, man. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, moving along. Segue into the next one. Yeah, I mean, just the thing with him is just staying healthy. I mean, I don't feel any different about it. It's a good signing, but like I've been saying.
Hey, Jewel, walk to another room for me, please. If you could walk to another room, you're going in and out, my friend. Go to another room, and I'll bring you back on. We'll go to the Chef 87, who's literally in his scrubs right now. This is a legendary call. Cannot wait for this. Chef, good to see you, my friend. Now, wait a second. Were we the same ones DMing about Orlando?
No,
Or
nah,
did you
nah.
come on when I was in Orlando? Did you join the
Yeah,
show
I
when I was
did.
down in Florida?
Yeah. You were down in Florida. We were talking not too long ago.
Okay. See, dude, you keep coming on in different settings and different outfits and whatnot. You're throwing me off. But
I'm a working man, Bobby. I'm a working man. I don't have that luxury. I got to do what I got to do for right now.
I love it. The Chef 87 live from the hospital. Where are you at?
I'm at a hospital in Baltimore. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll leave it at that. Give me your instant reaction live from the hospital in Baltimore.
It's okay. It's kind of mid. It's like it's not really nothing. I wanted Jair, like some other people were saying, but it's okay. It doesn't really move the needle for me.
But you're not getting Jair. See, here's the thing, though. I'm not sitting. I want to be clear. I'm trying to look at this objectively, and if it comes across as if we should all be excited about this, I don't think I've missed the mark. To me, it's given their situation that they find themselves in right now. This is a smart, savvy move. That's not a headline creating move, right? But it's also not something that totally scratches your head. Like Jair, to me, that's fantasy land. Gotcha. Especially with that injury history, not to mention the price tag that would come along with him, you would think.
I got you.
So that's just my look. I've seen the Jair stuff as well. I'm sure he's got more left in the tank. The Ravens are banking on Cheeto doing so as well. And given their situation right now, salary cap wise, to me, this was it makes sense.
I get it. No, I get it. I know how we have to go on like I think Coach Evans calls it the bargain bin shopping sometimes. I get it. You got to do what you got to do because you know how we are, our team. We go through cornerbacks like water. So we might have a couple healthy cornerbacks, and then by the middle of the season, on injuries. Hopefully not this year, but I just remember a couple years ago. So,
Man, shout out, coach. Bargain binning. That's exactly what it is. With all due respect to Cheeto, I mean, look, this is the latter half of free agency,
right.
right? Or maybe not the latter half, but this is secondary free agency, right? It's been
Sure.
a couple weeks now or so since free agency began. So he wasn't a coveted piece. There's a reason why Tennessee let him go. And as I've shared multiple times throughout the stream, Paul Kaharski, who's my source up there, he's the beat reporter for Tennessee. His context is that there's a big health push here from the new general manager. All 10 free agents they've signed have played a huge percentage of their games. Cheeto did not last year in year one after he was paid. He missed a big chunk with a groin injury. Still, it's weird to eat such a chunk of cap dollars. So for Tennessee, they're on the hook, man, for 7.5. For the Ravens, they may have just found their Brandon Stevens replacement. And if not, it's going to be TJ Tampa insurance and somebody that will compete as a veteran this summer. And that's the way I see it.
No, I get it. I get it, man. Now, going back to what I was saying about that bargain bin, Bobby, you know what I'm talking about. Like we all been to Walmart and you see like that DVD bin that has like whatever, like Rush Hour 3 in there or whatever, like movies that's old and they're like $1. So that's what we refer to.
I
Yeah.
got you. I got you, Chef. I appreciate you for calling in, man. I'll let you get back to
Yeah,
saving
I'm gonna
lives
get
out
back
there.
to work. I just wanted to come in, take a couple minutes, and shout out to my man Torf. I can't see the chat right now because I'm at work, but I just want to give him a shout out. That's my dude. So
Oh, the chat's cooking right now. Oh, Taurus, you said Taurus.
yeah, my man Torres. That's my dude right there.
You
So
know, I can't give him too much credit. He's going to take that and run. But I'll let you said it. I didn't say
I'll
it.
let y'all fight that out. I'm not going to get into that. That's between y'all two. But
All
Bobby,
right, brother.
I'm going to get on back here to work, man. I just want to come on. Appreciate, keep on working hard, man, and we love what you do.
I'm glad you did, man. The Chef 87 live from the hospital. You do great work, man. Thanks for the call.
All right, brother. Peace.
Talk to you. Thank you guys for being with me today. It's a breaking news live stream. Jewel, we'll get right back to you in just a second. Want to give William Bruce a chance just based on the chronological order of you guys popping into the waiting room. If you guys want to call in, I've dropped several links in the live chat. If you want to share a thought on the newest Raven, it is Cheeto Awuzie. He's a former Cincinnati Bengal. He spent last year in Tennessee. The Titans will be on the hook for $7.5 million. And now the Ravens add to their room because prior to this acquisition, that room consisted of Marlon, Nate, TJ, and Jalen, meaning Jalen Armour Davis, who has been totally unavailable, unfortunately for him, since he was drafted in the 4th round of 2022. William Bruce, give me your thoughts, brother. Thanks for calling in this afternoon.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Am I coming in?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can hear you, man.
Oh, okay, good. No, honestly, I kind of like the fact that this time the Ravens are digging in and trying to revamp that defense, rebuild the defense a little bit. Usually, I'm not a big fan of it because a lot of times in the past years when we've gone heavy on defense, we've left little to the imagination for the offense. But with DeAndre now, solid third wide.
My man, what is going on with the internet today, Julian? What's going on with the Baltimore internet?
I don't know. Is everything good? Am I good?
Oh, you're on the screen now,
Can you
but
hear me?
we had to kick Will out. I couldn't hear any. He went solo. Will, we'll try to get back to you in just a second. Your Wi-Fi went out, but Julian, give me your thought.
Oh yeah. What was I? Was I talking about Steve Saunders? I think I was
Well,
talking
you
about
were
him.
just trying to drag him any second, any chance you got.
Oh, he's catching strays. I'll leave the guy alone. But anyway, I was talking about our new signing, Uze. Like I said, he's a good signing. I mean, it's not like you said, not a needle mover. It's not like Jair Alexander. Um,
Now,
people.
Wait a second now. Would you say that Jair at this point in his career, given his injury history, will be needle moving?
It would be, but at the same time, no, because you can't trust it. I mean, yeah, obviously you know his track record, but can you trust him to stay healthy? That's the big problem.
No. And here's the
You
thing, though.
know?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
You may not be able to either with Cheeto giving it. And by the way, I just saw a tweet that popped up. Mills RX, he's one of those Twitter doctors. He literally listed out more of what I've already mentioned, but there's more specifics here in terms of his recent injury history. 2024, he had a grade
Right.
2 groin tear. That's an adductor groin tear. Okay. Also in 24, he had a grade 1 calf muscle strain. In 23, he had AC joint sprains. In 22, he had the right ACL tear that I mentioned. And in 21, he had multiple foot injuries. So he does have, unfortunately, a decorated injury history here in recent seasons, but so does Jair. And he wouldn't come at the same price, assuming that where is he right now? Green Bay?
He's still Green Bay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I can't imagine I don't know where his current situation is, but the fact that Tennessee is eating $7.5 million for him to play for another team, that's just where the Ravens are right now. And unfortunately, you got to come to reality with their salary cap situation because of how many star players they have on the books.
Exactly. That's what I said, you know. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, we should get him now." At this point, we signed who we signed just now, and the only thing that's missing is getting who we get in the draft, and that's obviously going to be a pass rusher. I don't expect them to do anything less unless they see something like maybe a guard to maybe have competition for Falele. But then again, like you said, I think you said something in past. I think it was the past live stream or the lunch hour that John Harbaugh is heavily strong on Falele, and he's got his 100% confidence. Obviously, he's bragged about him being in the Pro Bowl, so it was like, which was a shock to us, as an alternate, by the way, as an alternate. So, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do at 27, but I think they should go pass rush because you think about it, and we pulled out the stat. I think he pulled out the stat. I think it was weeks ago about the Ravens not generating turnovers in the playoffs when they need to. Game changing plays that they need to, and that's what contributed to all their losses. So yeah, they definitely need some type of game changing pass rush, but I don't know if you can find one at 27 unless they move up, which I
Jewel, I had to let you go, brother. You're coming in and out, unfortunately. But look at C King jumping on the bandwagon with you. C King writes, "Wouldn't trust Saunders with training a dog." Goodness gracious. Kush Renata says, "Not always a big fan when the Ravens go heavy on defense, but with DeAndre added, slowing down Pitt, Billy, and Patty may finally lead to a Super Bowl in 2025. And Dre Dog from earlier on in the stream hits me with a come to South Carolina, Bobby. We can hit the mountains and beaches in the same weekend. Let's go. That is enticing, Dre. That is enticing. I just learned of this app called Furnished Finder. I've been kind of tinkering around with that, experimenting a little bit to figure out where I'm heading to next. Let's give Will another opportunity here. Something is up with the Wi-Fi today in Baltimore. Will, you in Baltimore? What's going on today?
No, I'm in Charlotte.
You're in Charlotte. Okay. Well, hey, the Carolinas is well represented. Dre's in South Carolina. You're in North Carolina, but continue that thought on where you were headed.
Oh, well, this year we have a solid offense. I mean, there's really not much you can say we really need to add more to. Dynamic tight ends, 2 of them. Honestly, 2 Pro Bowl level tight ends. We got DeAndre, you got Zay, you got Bateman, you got 3 solid wide receivers. You have freaking King Henry in the backfield. Like, this is probably the most loaded offense you could imagine for someone with Lamar and the size of his contract and stuff like that to have. And actually throughout his entire career, this has probably been the most, star-filled offense or gifted offense he's had. So now loading up on defense, possibly getting a pass rusher in free agency. I wouldn't mind going after Judon. He might still have something left. If the Ravens history serves me correctly, they're not always big on the salary cap, but they'll wait, see if people start getting desperate, maybe even wait after the draft, see if there's anybody left, and then, go after, maybe hopefully Khalil Campbell to shore up that front line and then get a pass rusher, double up on a pass rusher in the draft and maybe get another corner. And I think we'd be ready to roll. Honestly, the biggest thing we need this year is just to be able to slow down Mahomes, slow down the Bills, slow down Pittsburgh. Now they brought in decaf. So if
Who's
we can
throwing
get,
to
well,
him? I
let's
know.
keep in
Other
mind,
group
like,
either.
I mean, I get that. It's just decaf is a heck of a talent. He's one of those guys who makes their quarterback better and not the other way around. So I feel like, well, if we can put on, 4 serviceable, corners, then I don't think, not every team is as lucky as the Cincinnati Bengals. You don't get 3 number 1 wide receivers and just be able to go at it. So with what they're doing right now, I love it. I love it. I think that this might actually be the year if they can hold down that defense, kind of give us a resemblance of what happened when McDonald was still here before he went to Seattle. If we can get that defense back, oh, we're sorry. We're going to the bowl, man.
Fair enough, brother. I like the optimism from Charlotte, North Carolina. Will, appreciate you for popping on today, brother.
No problem. You have a good one.
You too. Jewel will give you another shot just because you're wearing both of your hometown teams. Why the hell not? Let's see if Julian's Wi-Fi is going to cooperate. Finish that thought, Mr. Rambler.
All right, I'm gonna make it short and sweet. I like the signing. Number one, before it cuts off and do something crazy. Number one, I like the signing, and number two, hope we get a pass rusher or sign one or draft one. I don't care, whatever we do. That's all I'm waiting for is the draft. Short and sweet, pretty
Done.
much.
Appreciate you, brother.
Done.
Great seeing you,
I
my
appreciate
friend.
it, Bobby.
Yes, sir. Another super chat coming in here from C King. You know C King's throwing super chats around like they're growing on trees. Looking into moving to New Mexico, dude. You might like Santa Fe or Albuquerque. So many beautiful women in that state, dude. So saith I, C King. Okay, write it down. Dre Dog, we might be headed to New Mexico. Screw it. It's a different time zone. Would Sarah mind? Yes, I think she might mind. Great audience today on this mid-afternoon. It's a breaking news live stream to talk about the newest Baltimore Raven. It is Cheeto Awuzie. Tennessee is going to pay him $7.5 million to suit up for Baltimore. It's a 1-year deal for the Ravens. Low risk, perhaps medium to high level reward, perhaps a Brandon Stevens replacement, perhaps some insurance for the soon-to-be second-year player TJ Tampa that they drafted last year out of Iowa State. And maybe most importantly, from the Ravens' perspective, is that this does not count against the compensatory pick formula, being that he was willingly released by the Tennessee Titans. So those are the big things here. Going into the draft next month, the Ravens now really can be in a position where there's no huge needs on this roster. Certainly there are some needs, but nothing that sticks out like a sore thumb. And so they can go into the draft with their philosophy at the forefront, meaning, hey, we're going best player available. We're sticking to it at 27th overall, and all 10 picks that follow their opening night pick. Again, 27th overall coming up on April 24th. I appreciate you guys for being with me today. Perhaps a double live stream kind of day. We'll see what the afternoon brings, but Cheeto Awuzie is your newest Ravens corner. He joins the group with Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, TJ Tampa, and Jalen Armour Davis. He's a veteran. He's got some savvy. He's just got to stay available, but the Ravens ultimately do not have a whole lot invested in him. So if he's not available, as he hasn't been in recent years, he's struggled with injury history. They're not going to have totally been burnt based on the investment here. But hopefully we won't have to talk about any of that because he's healthy, and the Ravens obviously will be better for it given his experience. On your way out, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and consider supporting my brand sponsor, Primary Residential Mortgage. You can click on the link that's in the show notes. It's also a pinned comment in the live chat. Continued thanks to PRMI for all the support that they give me. They've been with me for 2 years now, and they're potentially helping me on the side here to get my home buying process started. So all that and more is what I have to update you on coming up. And let's see. I'll continue to have some guests on the vault this week, so stay tuned. Potentially, I can't tease it. Oh, should I tease it? No, I'm not going to tease it. Anyway, hopefully some good draft guests, let's say that, before the week's end. So anyway, catch up with you guys soon. Thanks to Primary for the support. Thanks to all 600 plus of you for spending part of your afternoon with me. And I'll catch up with you soon here inside the channel. Later, guys.